Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show, your number one resource for business growth education, insights, and news. Let's get today's show started.
Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show exclusively on the RVA Small Business Network. I'm Cory Mosley, your host for today's show. Today's show is sponsored by the Henrico Economic Development Authority. The Henrico EDA is passionate about its mission of cultivating a vibrant economy and promoting an outstanding quality of life. Andrew Larsen, Managing Director of Henrico Economic Development Authority, is joining me today to discuss their work making businesses thrive in Henrico. Andrew, welcome to the RVA Small Business Show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Really excited to continue this conversation here because there's a lot of things happening in the county and there's always something going on. So I want to jump right in and really focus today's conversation on some of the things that you're doing to attract new businesses to the county.
Absolutely.
Let's start there.
Well, that's mainly what I work on is I work on business attraction. So we have an existing business division, and so we really focus on first of all, how can we sell Henrico and who should we sell Henrico to? So we have certain target industries that we target, whether it's advanced manufacturing or data centers, office, tech, fintech, insurance, finance companies. So we figure out who we want to target. We work with a lot of partners as well at the state, the Greater Richmond Partnership as well, and we go out in the field. So we go to major markets. We go to on call trips. So we'll target certain companies in certain areas and try to talk to decision makers and have a meeting with them and talk about their growth and kind of if they see Virginia or Richmond as a place where they want to grow. And we go to trade shows as well. So we go to different trade shows, different industry trade shows, and try to meet with decision makers there as well. And really trying to get the word out about Henrico. I think.
What's the pitch?
We're pro-business, and we're pro-business. Obviously, I think we benefit greatly from just being a part of the Richmond region. The location, obviously the interstate network, the rail network, the Port of Virginia, kind of all the logistical advantages is one thing, and that's something really unique about it. But really, from a Henrico perspective, we are pro-business. And we do that. We put our money where our mouth is. So we enact pro-business policies. We have proactively reduced taxes over the last 10 or so years. We have a very well-run county and a great county staff that makes development easy for companies. It's not always a slam. It's not like we let anything go, but we work to make sure that the companies have an easy path towards development and getting a project up and running. We have available land, and that's kind of the main pitch.
Sure.
We're just bottom line is we're pro-business,
and I think that's obviously a key point. And I think the other thing that people are interested in, right? Because you're here to serve all, right? From a small business, from a mom and pop business, all the way up to major corporations. Yeah. But we know that bringing in those major corporations also creates jobs and does so many other things. So
Absolutely.
When you're laser focused on that piece, I think you're also probably talking about quality of life as an opportunity because great, yeah. I have a lot of pro-business opportunities to move my corporation here, but are my employees going to like it? Yeah. Are they going to move with me? Is this going to be a great place for them to be? How do you answer some of those questions?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. So traditionally, economic development has been all about jobs, investment, companies, chasing big projects, so to speak. I think that over the last, I'd say probably 5 to 10 years, it's really changed. We're no longer in the business of just recruiting companies. We're also in the business of recruiting people. So we have to make sure that our communities are a place where people want to stay, where they want to move to, or they want to live. Fortunately, the Richmond region is the fastest growing region in the Commonwealth. Henrico is right along there too, all the surrounding counties. So we have that momentum. So on our side, we need to make sure that we have places where people want to live. We have the housing available. We work really closely with the kind of the property owners across the county for different redevelopment opportunities. You probably well know we've successfully or in the midst of redeveloping Regency Mall. Virginia Center Commons is also being redeveloped. The Willow Lawn area has really gone through a lot of transformations. And again, just creating not just what these places are turning into is not just, it's not just a one purpose. Like a mall used to be just a mall. Now it's a mall. You got multifamily housing. You have entertainment, you have restaurants, so it's a kind of a live, work, play, mixed use community.
What's a great example about that is sometimes, as the saying goes, what was old is new again also.
That's right.
Because I just read that there's an area bank that's expanding back. Regency hadn't had a bank in over a decade or so. It used to be, I shared with Anthony Romanello when he was here that, that was my first job working in Regency Square Mall. Oh, cool. So that Bank of America that was there forever, that left the market. So now we've got things coming back around again in this redevelopment. I think that's probably something that's exciting from your end, because there's never a dull day in Henrico EDA, probably, right?
Not at all. Not at all. And we help support some of those. Again, we don't just support necessarily the company specifically. We'll help support different developments like that, like Regency, through a community development agreement, a CDA agreement, where we help, kind of support their development through future tax revenue. So no, it's never a dull day. And again, it's really become a big focus of ours in Henrico, and we're kind of ahead of the game with that, with what we call it placemaking. So, what can we do at the EDA level, at the county level, to help create an area and create places where people want to be? Because ultimately, the more your population grows, companies these days are following the employees, and they want to make sure, first of all, that a region's growing. Second of all, that it's going to continue to grow, and that it's a place that they can stay for a long time.
Let's talk about speed to market, because I think one of the areas where you guys excel is your ability to come in and work with a partner to remove some of those barriers. I mean, am I interpreting that correctly from the outside? Let's talk about that. How is speed to market affected by working with your organization?
So that is usually the number one decision factor for a lot of companies. So they want to make sure that they can get if they're building a new building, they can get their building up and running as quick as possible, or if they're renovating, that they can renovate a building as quick as possible, so they can start making money.
Now, you work with them on permits, or all of that stuff goes into it. Okay.
Permitting. So it starts very early. We'll meet with companies that are interested and kind of talk about the process high level. But when they've chosen to come to Henrico, that's where the rubber meets the road and the job starts. Where we set up meetings with the county folks to talk about kind of the path forward through the plan development, building inspections, all of the necessary steps to get a development through, and that's really where we excel. And it's a lot of the work is on the county side and the planning department, and DPW, DPU, all the folks there. That's really what we call it, the Henrico way. It's what makes Henrico unique. It is how easy it is and how quickly we can get projects up and off the ground. There are several examples. The Amazon project that actually is about to open on Richmond Henrico Turnpike. That was a great example of the county really pivoting and working with Amazon to meet their speed goals.
Okay.
With the widening the road was a big piece. So we worked with Amazon.
I'm sure they
the county.
Probably had a fair list of things that they'd like to get done, and that they wanted help with.
Yep.
What I was thinking about, you were talking about something earlier, we were talking about lifestyle. I know a lot of cities across the country and counties across the country struggle to get companies to get their employees to stay in the locality and not, be 45 minutes away or so I think Henrico is a great place where you don't have that problem. Why do you think, people are so comfortable working, playing, worshiping, doing business in Henrico?
I think we check all the boxes. I think you have all the different qualities of life. You have, the eastern part of the county is rural and has some more open land. And then you have the western part of the county, which is kind of the suburban neighborhoods. And then you have the Westwood area, Willow Lawn area, and Rockets Landing. That's more urbanized, where you can get kind of the more city-like feel. So I think, we check all the boxes. We have low taxes, from even not only from a business perspective, but from a consumer perspective or citizen's perspective, and great parks, great amenities, and easy road system as well. So I think we check all the boxes when it comes to that.
And I would think you uniquely can speak to this because you are a lifetime resident of Henrico, yes?
I sure am. Born and raised.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a product of, this is what Henrico produces, so good or bad?
I'm going to go with good. I'm going to go with good. I'm going to go with good. So we talked about speed of the market. Let me turn our attention a little bit to funding, dollars and cents, right? People are looking for funding. People are looking, they want to expand. They want to be incentivized. Companies want abatements and all these other things many times. What are some of the things that you guys are doing when it comes to assisting in maybe closing funding gaps to really help push some of these projects over the line?
Yeah, so we do a lot of that. There are several that we call buy right. So again, some of those pro-business policies that we've enacted. So we have a technology zone in the greater Innsbruck area that helps spur some development. We have HIP zones, Henrico Investment Program zones, where it just helps spur development through certain corridors. There's the enterprise zone program. So there's a lot of buy right, kind of existing programs that help that. But for larger projects, based on the jobs and the capital investment, we do come in and usually we work with the state in putting together kind of an incentive offer. And it's very customized to the company. A lot of it on the local level is based on, local tax revenue. So we look at, in Virginia, localities make their tax revenue off of real estate and machinery and tools. So for manufacturers mainly,
right.
The state makes it off income tax. So we usually have to match a state grant sometimes, and we do that through. We can't abate taxes by law in Virginia, right. But we can rebate them. So we look at a kind of a 10, 20 year period, and we kind of put our model together. And again, for large projects where we're competing, sometimes we compete with North Carolina, South Carolina, and
right.
New York, Pennsylvania, wherever. So we do have to be aggressive in kind of how we incentivize these companies and impact their bottom line. So,
and a lot of that, and thank you for that. A lot of that is, you talked about the competition or attracting people.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who are here already and maybe are looking at expansion opportunities? Like they're already here, they're already in the county and business here, and they may be looking to expand and are looking for some assistance in that area. How do they work with you when it comes to things of that nature?
Very similar. We we have a good track record for that. And there's a stat in economic development where roughly 85% of the new job growth and investment in a state, county is from existing businesses, actually. So they're actually really one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. But we work with them in a very, very similar way where we look at how many jobs they're looking to add, how much money they're looking to invest, and we'll put together an incentive package depending on that. Because we really, especially if they're looking to leave or if they're, that's really where we need to make sure we do what we can to keep them happy and keep them growing.
And it's funny when you're talking about competing and having to, pitch. It's just like everything. It is a business within a business, right? Attracting new businesses here is a business to take action. We're just doing it under the county, right?
Yep, that's right.
Before I let you go, last thing I want to talk about, we talked about speed to market. We talked about financial part.
Yep.
Last piece of this puzzle is, risk.
Yep.
So corporations, companies, small businesses, making investments in whether getting more space, redeveloping a project. Everybody wants to mitigate risk.
Yep.
And I think part of what you do is help in that process. How does the Henrico EDA factor in when it comes to helping business owners, maybe mitigate some of the risks to doing those steps?
Yeah. Well, I like to think of us as we're kind of a conduit to solving problems, to getting projects done. So, again, we're very fortunate being working for Henrico County because really Henrico County, one of the best run counties in the Commonwealth, and we really do have a great staff that works with the businesses and makes sure that the process is as smooth as possible. So we work with them. Typically when a company is interested in coming, we'll set up really. You roll your sleeves up. They're called usually pre-development or pre-application meetings. So we'll get all the right county folks around the table. We'll iron out kind of the process, and kind of go back and forth with the company to make sure that all the things they need to submit for all the permits, which is not a lot, but the plan of development permit and the different things to get a project off the ground, we kind of flesh those out before they become issues. But if there are ever issues, usually we can step in and help work with, the different county departments, or sometimes it's the state. For example, I recently worked with a company that's going to be coming to Henrico where they need an air permit at the state level. And so we worked with the state to help just kind of iron out some of the details there. And there's some local involvement. There's some letters and things that we have to submit for those types of things. So it's really, we help companies solve problems so that they can quickly solve problems so that they can get their development off the ground running. That's right.
Yeah. Henrico EDA sounds like the right partner that you want in your pocket.
That's right.
Right?
That's
that you
right.
want to be working with, the right partner. Andrew Larsen, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. For more information on the work that the Henrico Economic Development Authority is doing, please visit them online at henrico.com. This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, RVA's only online streaming video network dedicated to small business growth, education, trends, and news. I'm Cory Mosley, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, presented by the RVA Small Business Network. Be sure to like, share, and join our newsletter at rvasbn.com.